If you imagine having a massive adrenaline rush and then probably having double that again, I mean, that's what it can be like at times.
He's one of the best drivers in the history of rallying.
I would say without a doubt Colin is the most talented driver that we've seen in Britain.
He gets into car and drives it flat out from the beginning.
He can be first everywhere.
He drives the car as fast as he knows how. Tactics are sort of straight in your face.
He is the quickest driver.
Whenever you go to an event, you know that who can win this event? Colin McRae is always there. He's a fantastic talent.
There's only one thing that really motivates Colin, and that is winning.
You know that you have to do 150%, otherwise you have no chance to win.
Everybody comments on how wild they appear from the outside, but inside it's just a feeling of calm. He's very much in control.
I would always put my money on if it went down to the final stage shootout between him and whoever else in the World Championship.
He's a hero to many spectators, not just in the UK, but across the whole world now.
They say that the buzz of the crowd once we've passed is nothing like anybody else. And, of course, that's Colin McRae.
We know that he's fast, we know that he's fearless, and we know that he loves rallying, but how does he do it? Well, if you want to find out how to drive like Colin McRae, follow me. Well, it looks like a Ford Focus on the outside, but it doesn't look much like one on the inside. So talk me through a Focus World Rally car.
Well, I suppose the only resemblance to the Focus that you would know is probably the indicator and the wiper stalks here, which are off a standard Focus, and we obviously need because it's driven on the road as a normal road car. The wipers we obviously need as well on events, on stages. Apart from that, the rest of it is very, very different.
Yeah, for sure. Now what's this? This is the gear change?
It's a gear stick, which is a sequential gear stick. It's forward for down the box and back for up. Basically, once you pull off the start line, you use the clutch as normal as you would in an everyday car. All the pedal setups are the same. The throttle's on the right, then the brake, you can use your right or your left foot. Once you've pulled off the start line, then you don't touch the clutch again. The car does it all for you. In front of the gear lever, we have the centre console of the car, which would normally have your CD player in it. Unfortunately, we don't have that.
And your air conditioning.
The switches are, starting at the top, are control for all the diffs, different potentiometers for different settings. You go down to ignitions and fuel pumps.
Okay, and handbrake doesn't look anything like we're used to?
Handbrake's in totally the wrong position, which is very, very easy for us to use. To get your hand from the gear lever or the steering wheel to the handbrake, you can grab a hold of it very, very quickly. Pull it and let it go. You don't have to push any buttons or anything. It flies off on its own.
Okay, so that's that. Safety, that's important.
Very important, obviously. You can see there's a fairly substantial roll cage all around the car in the back. There's enough space to get in and out the car. But you would never be able to fit the family in the back.
Not a chance.
And then you've got the seat belts here, which is a normal sort of 6-point fastening seat belt, and obviously the seats as well, full competition seats, which hold you in very well.
Okay, so you've talked me through it. Now it's time to show me how you drive it.
Colin McRae is a phenomenon, the youngest world champion rallying has ever seen, the winner of more world rallies than any other competitor, the highest paid driver in his profession with a lifestyle to match. But life started very differently in Scotland back in 1968.
We just go down across the river and up the other side into a place called Blackwood, which is where I was brought up for the first 5-6 years of my life.
We originally lived about 3 houses down from my father, who was a blacksmith to trade.
And when he retired, he had his own wee workshop, and Colin spent a lot of time up there with him, tampering with repairing lawnmowers and doing work for, just bits and pieces of work for farmers and stuff like that.
As a child, inquisitive, into everything, very mechanically minded from very young.
Both my grandpa and my granddad, which was my mother's father, they were very keen to let us drive. We used to sit on their knees and steer the car up and down the driveway as much as we could. So I think, it was great, and they obviously loved it as well.
From he was just a toddler, he would go into a car and sit there and pretend he was driving it.
Colin's been interested in speed since ever he was born.
But it wasn't just his grandfathers who encouraged Colin in his need for speed. There was already rallying pedigree closer to hand.
I won the British Championship 5 times from 80 through to 89. He was basically born into the motorsport, and it all went from there. I mean, he started in bikes, he started in schoolboy scrambles bikes, then schoolboy trials.
Bikes were just a stopgap. You couldn't do rallying until you got your driving licence, so we had a lot to do before we were 17.
We're heading to a place called Black Hill. This was the first place that ever came to ride motorbikes. That's what I wanted to do, was motocross. Although my mother was never very supportive of that idea, so when I turned my attention more to cars, she was a bit more supportive.
I always felt it was much more dangerous than cars, because they were young and hot-headed and you were never sure exactly what they would do next.
He won the Scottish Junior Motocross Championship, and he also won the following year, or 2 years after that, he won the Intermediate Schoolboy Trials Championship, so he was good in both trials and motocross.
In fact, Colin wasn't the only one mad on his motors. Lanark was becoming a playground for petrol heads. Amongst them, Robbie Head.
When we weren't actually competing on the trials and then motocross, then we used to go and watch Colin's dad, and he used to sometimes, occasionally, if we were lucky enough, get a run in the rally cars. He was rallying Opel Mantas and Asconas at that time.
As soon as he could get onto 4 wheels, he was on 4 wheels and away.
So you're sat on the start of a stage. How do you get off the line as quickly as possible?
Okay, in gear, obviously. The anti-lag system's on, the valve's on, and that's the car ready to go, so hold it on the handbrake. Just build the revs up to somewhere around 5,000-6,000, and then the important part of it all is to try and find the point the clutch bites, and then just stay off it until we come to the sort of 3, 2, 1 go. Drop the clutch, and then if there's good traction, you just full on the throttle.
Alright, should we give it a go? If I count you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You've had a fair few incidents and accidents in your time. Some you got away with and some you haven't. How on earth do you try and rescue a moment?
Well, really the start of it is to know when you're going to have the moment. How far away from it you are. And it's a very, very fine line between having the grip you need and not having grip, because in a rally car you never have full grip. You've got to try and find the balance. You've just got to feel the grip the tyres got on the surface. If it starts to get away from you, there's quite a few different techniques you can use to get it back. Most normal road drivers, if they have an accident, they'll probably turn into a corner, the car will start to slide, they'll panic and won't do anything, so the car spins or they stand on the brake and the car just goes straight off at the angle it's at the time, which is generally straight on. If you come into a corner, you turn in, you're going too quick, you put the brake on, the car will just slide to a stop at whatever angle it's going at. So you've actually got to do something with the throttle, the brake or the steering to make it get round the corner.
But quite often that is the most unnatural reaction, to get on the throttle when you think you're out of control, you want to stop the car, you